Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode of the Uncomfortable Chat. I am Steve Wheatcroft, your host. Of all the questions I get answered or asked, being a former PGA Tour player, probably two of the biggest ones are, hey, Steve, who are the biggest assholes on tour? And, hey, Steve, who are the nicest guys on tour? I'm going to leave the first one alone because, as I tell people, you can watch on TV and you can probably figure that out yourself. Secondly, I found the nicest guy on tour, and he's on the pod this week. So, Peter Malnati, PGA Tour player, two-time winner, joins the pod. I've known Pete for, I don't even know, 12, 13 years now. He is the nicest human being in the world, man. I love Pete to death. He and his family are just wonderful human beings. They're great people. He's always a great conversation, as you'll see in the pod. But, he's had a heck of a career out there, winning twice, couple-time winner on the Korn Ferry Tour as well. But member of the PGA Tour Policy Board, which is a spot that I don't think anybody is envious of, because sitting in a room with guys like, the commissioner of the tour, Tiger Woods, Adam Scott, Webb Simpson, guys like that, he is the voice of the players. He's the voice of the Korn Ferry Tour. He's the voice of the guys who have played mini tours, because I think a lot of the PGA Tour players forget where they came from and forget how hard that road is. And he's the voice of the people, so to speak. But he's done a phenomenal job out there balancing both sides of it. And I had a good time with our chat. I thought it was great, and I think you guys will enjoy it too. So without further ado, Peter Malnati. All right, man, let's roll. I want to welcome on a very special guest. He's a proud Missouri Tiger, a two-time Korn Ferry Tour champion, a two-time PGA Tour champion, and he's won the nicest guy on the PGA Tour award for 12 straight years now. Please welcome to the pod, Mr. Peter Malnati. How we doing, brother?
Doing great, Weedy. Thanks for that intro, by the way. That was nice. The 12-time winner, nicest guy award. I don't know. I try to share. When I was a kid, I dreamed of playing golf on the PGA Tour, and now that I'm 38, still feel like a kid, but I have been doing it a while. I still try to share that joy and that appreciation with people. So that comes across as nicest guy on the tour. I'll take it.
No, man, I think you're underselling it like crazy, man. You've always been one of the great ones out there. You're always fun to play with. You take things very I guess with a grain of salt. You're always you seem like you're always happy, and it's like one of those ducks on a pond thing, man. If you might be paddling like crazy and angry underneath, but you're not showing it. So no, man, it's when you avoid the swear words better than most people too, which is always great. We all kind of badmouth each other, our caddies, our bounces or whatever, but we say certain words, you come up with different words, but
well, I don't know. Can your audience handle a story with a bad word in it? Like
you can swear, you can say them all, man.
So I got this is one of my favorite stories from playing golf, and this is from a long time ago. A guy that you'll know well, you probably haven't seen or heard of him in 10 years either, but I played a decent bit of golf early in my tour career, and my full year on Korn Ferry, I played with him a ton. Alex Aragon. Do you remember Alex Aragon?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Man, you talk about angry.
So Alex was actually, he was nice to other people. He was just really mean to himself.
Uh-huh.
But Alex, this was one of my favorite stories. We were playing at the time, our nationwide tour event. Now what's called Korn Ferry Tour event in Cartagena, Colombia. The wind blew like 40 miles an hour every day there. It was, it was unplayable. But we're out there playing anyway. And there's one par 3, and I just remember, I don't know the exact numbers, I'm gonna make it up, but like at that time in my life, I hit my 7-iron 170 yards. This was like a 220-yard par 3, and I hit a 7-iron over the green because the wind was blowing so hard. And as I watched the ball disappear over the green, I said, "Jiminy Christmas, that went a long way." And Alex steps up like he's going through, and he's like, it's his turn to hit, and he backs off, and he looks at me and he goes, "Peter, did you just say Jiminy Christmas? I mean, Jesus Christ, have you ever said fuck in your life?" and I've always just remembered that story like being like so funny to me. Like if you ever said that. And so I actually think about that sometimes, and I've definitely said that under my breath a ton. I don't say it out
Yeah.
loud very much, but I've said it under my breath a ton.
Which makes you a lot better than the rest of us, because I would MF myself, I'd motherfuck myself all the way up and down every fairway, just screaming at myself, yelling. Yeah, I didn't get too angry at other people. I very seldom ever got mad at caddies, just because I'm like, dude, I'm the one hitting the shots. Why am I
Yeah.
going to yell at this guy? And but I mean, I could motherfuck myself up and down fairways left and right with the best of them. So
Yeah.
yeah, well done. Yeah, I miss Alex Aragon. He was always fun to watch, if nothing else. You get paired with him. You knew he was going to be nice to you, but he was just going to be a demon to himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, you grew up in Tennessee. You went to school at Missouri. I don't want to touch on too much of your junior because you've done so much on the big tours here. I want to talk a little bit about that. And I know you're crunched for time. You're out there firing 3 under 69s at the Rocket Mortgage this week. So appreciate you taking the time to hop on tonight. I know you got you got to get some rest before that 62 tomorrow to probably just squeeze into the cut line or something. The way the scores are looking right now, everybody shooting 10 unders, 9 unders. Who was it? Minwoo Lee, his course record lasted for about 4 hours today.
4 hours.
Yeah, so lucky him. One of the things I love talking about, because the general public has no idea about it, is the mini tour life. I've always said there's something romantic about living out of your car, being your own man, trying to build a career, just making it work with an extremely tight budget. I know you put some time in out there. How was your time living on the road doing that?
You know, one thing that I'm looking back on that I'm really thankful for, I am obviously, this is about the generosity of other people, but I'm thankful for my own personality trait. I don't know if I got it from my parents, definitely not my dad, maybe my mom, but I've always been I'm pretty gregarious, I'm outgoing, and I'm thankful for that because I, rather than paying for hotels when I was playing mini tours, I would call the course where the mini tour event was, and I would ask the pro there, I'd be like, "Do you have any members or people that might think it'd be cool for like a broke, struggling like mini tour golf professional golfer to stay at their house?" And most of the time, I would find someone, and you would pay your dues by having conversations with these people and like getting to know them,
Yep.
and I was good at that, and I remember my accountant at the time, well, he's still my accountant now. I would turn in my like expense reports at the end of the year to him, and he would say, "Well, we're just going to claim the per diem because you don't have any expenses. Like, what did you do?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I stayed with people, and they felt bad for me, so they fed me, they housed me, they did everything for me." And I actually, one thing that's kind of cool from that time in my life, like the the guy who officiated Alicia's my wife, Alicia and I's wedding, was just a random guy that I met by staying in his house in Greensboro, North Carolina, for a tournament. And then my like now that I obviously I don't have tons of wealth to manage, but my financial advisor who helps so forth, he was a guy that I just randomly had stayed with at one point in my mini tour career, and like he takes care of all of our stuff now. And like I've got these like lasting, meaningful friendships from those times because I just stayed at people's houses, and
Yep.
that was is a lot better than sleeping in a car.
Yes.
Now that I have 2 kids of my own and a family, like I actually relish. I miss my family like crazy. I need like a 1-to-3 ratio would be ideal. If I get 2 weeks with my family and then 1 week in a quiet hotel room, it's like I relish the quiet hotel room now.
Yep.
So but it's funny looking back on those days when like the few weeks when I could not get a host family, the things that we would do, man. Like I remember my best buddy on the main tours was a really good player, a guy named Ryan Nelson, and we would price line 2-star hotels and be like, "All right, what can we get this week? Oh, we got this Best Western for 54 a night. We're gonna split it. Yes!"
Yep.
So those days.
And you'd always bring in a third guy if you could. Hey, there's somebody else looking. It's like, yeah, we'll split it 3 ways. Now I'm down to $17 a night. Sure.
An air mattress in my car.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome. No, I remember those days. I was traveling with, Ryan Armour, obviously, very well. But we had a couple other guys, Mike Austin, Randy Lean. One went to Ohio State, one went to Indiana with me. But I remember staying in Alabama one time, and there were hotel rooms, and we had four of us in one hotel room, and whoever were the two low guys that day on the golf course got the beds. The other two guys got the floor. You know, if you were lucky enough to have an air mattress, great. But you didn't think twice about it. It's like, hey, if I could spend $15 a night for a hotel room, and you got a shower, you got a place to lay your head at night. That's all you matter. I mean, again, looking back, once you get to the PGA Tour, it's a little different because then all of a sudden it's like now you're staying in nice hotels, you're doing all this stuff. So, but when you're 23, 24, and you don't know any different, you know,
that's literally like I love this term. It gets way overused now. Like that term, like we were literally chasing the dream. Like we were chasing, like the dream was way out there. It was not like it was not in that La Quinta with four people in your room. No, that's not where the dream was, but you were chasing it. And you know what? I'm not sure if this podcast is about mental health or not, but not to bring up a bad mental health moment, but like, you know, you stayed four people in a La Quinta Inn during your mini tour days, and then you were, you know, just 1 inch of sand away from being a PGA Tour winner, sweetie, and like to think like you were chasing that dream, and like you know you got to live that dream too, which is cool. Which it's funny. We'll probably get into this. Like the dream, it's funny when you think you're aspiring for something. Sometimes it's not all you thought it was going to be. Like there's a lot more to that dream than you think. But those days of like I remember like when I wasn't playing a mini tour event, which wasn't very often. I played every week when I was 22, 23, 24, 25. I'd play a Hooters tour, Tar Heel tour. Every week I was playing something. But the weeks when I wasn't playing, I was living rent free with my mom and dad also, which is like that's part of chasing the dream too, you know.
Heck yeah. Find a buddy, find somebody's house you can crash at for 3-4 nights, just something to break it up. And no, I get it, man. I tell the story a couple times on the pod, I think, but I remember my mom calling when I was traveling on this mini tour, and she's like, "Are you eating? Do you have money, you know, for food?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got $50." And she's like, "You're spending 50 a night?" And I was like, "No, 50 for the week for dinners." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, I can go to Subway, I can get a foot long bag of chips and a drink. It's like $7, and you know, I do that for 7 nights. There's $49." Like, and I said it nonchalantly, like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's great food. You know, I'm good." And she's like, "You spent $50 a week on dinners, and now you spend that on a glass of wine or something when you're on the big tour, you know?" So it got a little different, but at the time, again, you don't know any better. Hey, there's a Subway right down the road. Let's go.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, we got you out of your car finally. You got your big break getting to the Corn Ferry Tour, and you eventually won in Knoxville in 2013, finished 18th on the money list, got to go out to the big show. Where you kind of did what I did. You got your feet wet, and you learned quickly that, man, these guys are really good. Lost your card, went back to Corn Ferry, and then you know you're quick at getting back. So you won in Brazil, finished fourth on the money list. Now, if you finish fourth on the money list, you put together a complete year on that tour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because a lot of people think once you win, you're going back to the show, and that's just not the way things work.
No.
You get back to the PGA Tour, and then you win in the fall, November 15. You get your first win at the Sanderson Farms Championship. Now, the money's obviously life-changing for you, but being a lifelong grinder, what was it like basically having a 3-year exemption of job security? Because I know what that means as someone playing mini tours and bouncing back and forth between Corn Ferry and PGA. But can you tell our listeners a little bit about what that relief feels like?
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to describe, actually. Like that was because you know you sort of deal with you know, as a guy, like I wasn't even the best player on my high school team. I went to a public high school in rural East Tennessee. Like, wasn't the best player on my high school team. Maybe my senior year at the University of Missouri, I was the best player on that team, but we were a lousy golf team.
Yeah.
So you deal like at all the levels. You deal with this imposter syndrome of like what am I doing here? Like, and then, you know, do I really belong here? And when you win the tournament, it's like, you know, for a few weeks after you win the tournament, you feel like you really do belong, which is great. It's nice. But then, like, the question, do I belong here, is no longer relevant because it's answered. Like, you do because you are here. You're here now, not just for this year. You're here for 2 more after this. And, you know, I won like the second or third event of a wraparound season. So you're right. I had like 3 years to know that I was playing on the PGA Tour, and like that feeling, I mean, that was just hard. It's hard to explain how cool that feeling is, because I was actually only, at that point I was only 2 years removed from being a mini tour player, because the year I got my first tour card, I didn't have status on any of the tours like Corn Ferry or anything. I had just Monday qualified my way in.
Yeah.
So I was, I started 2013 as a mini tour player, and I ended 2015 with a 2-year exemption on tour.
On the PGA Tour.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, heck of a little run there, man, for some guy that was barely, on his, barely the best player on his college golf team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that completely. I was the kid that, I was terrible, and I say terrible in high school, but like all these AJGA All-Americans, whatnot. I went to 3 AJGA tournaments to the qualifiers.
Yes.
Not the tournaments. I went to 3 Monday qualifiers and never broke 80 in those.
Yes, I was trying to qualify for AJGAs too. That's right.
Yeah, and like everybody's like, "Oh, you went to Indiana. You were a Big Ten Division I school." I'm like, I walked on, and the only reason I walked on is because the coach got tired of me asking if I could come walk on. He told me no 6 times, and finally he told me he's going to cut me after 6 months. So that's the only reason I was there, and I was the last guy on the team. I just assumed I was getting to hit free golf balls for 6 months, and then I was going to, get a business degree of some kind, and then, figure out where the hell I was going to go next. But
maybe start a podcast,
Yeah, maybe start a podcast. But yeah, the thought, as that letter that I wrote back in the day, it's like there was a better chance of me owning a Chick-fil-A on the moon than there was ever playing professional golf. Like it was such a mythical place. I watched those guys on TV, but I was never going to be one of them. And which kind of leads into my next question here. It's like I've often struggled with giving myself credit as being one of the better golfers in the world, because I guess I never truly felt like I was one of the best in the world. Same as you just said, But in the grand scheme of things, if you're playing on the PGA Tour, you're in the top 0.00001% of golfers in the world, right? So you got as high as 65th in the world, which is incredible. Now, you've been labeled a grinder on tour like I was, and no matter how many wins you amass, you're probably always going to have that moniker just because of the style of the game that you and I play. It ain't flashy, but we find ways to get it done. How have you handled that label of being a grinder? Like, do you embrace it, or do you kind of fight to break out of that?
No, I mean, it's definitely something I take a lot of pride in. I remember a cool moment in my career, made much more cool by what he has now become. I was playing the third round of the 21, because pandemic year was 20. The third round of the 21 Players Championship, I was playing with Scotty Scheffler. Scotty hadn't won on tour yet. I mean, he was clearly a very good player, but he hadn't won on tour yet.
Yeah, he's decent. He has a chance to keep his card this year.
Yeah, right. And we we'd had bad weather, and so we're starting the third round Saturday afternoon, and we're off 10, so we were not on the right end of the U draw. But we get around over to number 2, and I know you're very familiar with it, but for those who aren't, the number 2 at TPC Sawgrass it's a reachable par 5. You definitely stand on the tee, thinking it's an opportunity. It's a birdie eagle hole,
yep.
But it's an uncomfortable tee shot because
it's one of the hardest in the game.
Like for a right-handed player, you might be able to keep a straight ball in the fairway. You cannot fade that tee ball, and you really need to draw it.
Yeah.
And so I step up and toe hook one over in the trees. Not awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, was pretty lucky to have a gap to get it back out to the fairway and forward. So I hit it back, hit a great shot out of the trees. But my second shot barely gets past Scotty's drive in the fairway. Scotty's drive's in the fairway. My second shot just barely gets past his. He misses the green with his second shot. I hit a 5-iron to 4 feet. He grinds it up and down. He chips it 8 or 10 feet. He does make it, but then I'd go tap my 4-footer in for birdie. And he goes, "Pete, you would annoy the shit out of me to play in match play."
Yep.
And I said, "Coolest thing you could have said to me, buddy. Thank you."
Yep.
And that was cool. But the idea, one thing that I find a little bit strange about our culture, and I use the word strange there. I actually find it really annoying. I shouldn't have said strange. Our culture, I think, has this idea that it's that people like natural talent or being born with talent is cool or amazing or whatever. First of all, I don't really think that's even a thing. I think everyone who's really like Dustin Johnson has natural gifts. His body moves in a really cool way. Rory has natural gifts. Like his hips, I don't really understand.
Correct.
But, like when he was 17, Rory was like frumpy, unathletic.
Yeah.
And he still hit it 320.
Yeah.
Like his body does something that normal bodies don't. But he's worked incredibly hard to teach his body to do that and to hone that skill. So this idea of natural talent is not a real thing anyway. But our society like loves this. Like it's almost as if like if you have to work hard for something that like that I think that's the coolest thing.
Yep.
Like I think to develop a plan, implement it, work really hard on it, and then achieve, because that to me is the best feeling in the world. Like I mean, yeah, like it is. And so if I'm labeled a grinder or something, that's great. That's fine with me. I just hope people know that like yeah, I've had amazing things in my life that have allowed me to get to where I am. Like I still have the best mom and dad in the world. Had an amazing upbringing. You know, tons of opportunity for sure. But like that's for sure, and I'm thankful for that. But like the success that I've had in golf is because I worked my ass off, and I'm really really proud of that. Like that's something that so you can label me whatever you want. I want you to keep labeling me a PGA Tour player for another decade or so. That'd be great.
Absolutely perfect answer, man. I'll absolutely love it because I did the same thing and I took pride in working my butt off. And I tell everybody all the time, like I wasn't born with like those gifts that like the body type or the body, where I wasn't gifted by hitting at 350. I worked at a golf course in Pittsburgh that was really tight, really tree line. So I hit it straight and I didn't hit it very far. But kind of a fun, I took a lot of pride in, having a strong mind in my, in my head here where I could overcome a lot of things where other people couldn't, or I could grind things out, or I would, if I had the 7-footer to make the cut, I was nervy enough to make it. And but I'll give you a fun side story. This will be good for the listeners as well. So I'm playing in Memphis one year, get done on the third round. We're having a bite to eat afterwards. And Adam Scott comes walking in. And one of the guys at the table looks up at him. He's like, "Hey, Scotty, I saw your outfit, such and such tomorrow. You know who you're playing with?" He's like, "Nope, haven't looked at the pairings yet." He's like, "You got Wheatcroft tomorrow." And he's like, "Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Stevie, well, let's have some fun out there." And then he goes, and then one guy starts laughing. And I'm like, "What are you laughing for?" He goes, "You guys haven't looked at each other's stats, have you?" He's like, "No." He goes, Adam Scott is plus 8 point something strokes gained tee to green. Wheatcroft is plus 8.5 strokes gained on the greens. He's like, so basically, Scotty's going to stripe it all day, and he's going to get so pissed off at Wheatcroft all day because Wheatcroft's going to slap it around the lot and then somehow make par. And, I mean, you can't make this up. We got on the first hole in Memphis, and you know that one is a little slight dogleg left. Doesn't fit my cut at all. Scotty takes one up over the corner and just bombs it. He's got lob wedge in. And I hit this slice up by that tree, 35 yards off the fairway. And I gouged something out there like left of the green to a front pin. He hits it in there to 10 feet right underneath the hole. I hit it to 8 feet. He misses. I make, and we go to the next tee. I was like, oh my God, this is going to happen. And all day that's what happened. And we both shoot 67. We finished like 10th in the tournament. But we started laughing about it eventually. It was comical because he would just hit these perfect looking golf shots. And I'd hit something off the toe that would somehow tumble up onto the green, and I'd make a 50-footer for birdie or something. He'd just shake his head, and I'm like, I know, dude, this is the way I live, man. This is my style of golf. This is normal for me.
They all count, man. Like
they all count.
I find that golf is a number on a scorecard, and it's a skill. Like this is probably unrelated to what you just said and what we're talking about, but it made me think of it. Like one thing I've been in a real rut lately. I've been in a real rut. I won in March last year, which is awesome. I can't believe it. I don't really know how, but I did.
We're getting to that next.
Since then, my best finish on tour, I think I finished 33rd or 5th at Memorial last year, which was great.
Yep.
Enjoyed that. But beyond that, I'm not sure I have a top 50 finish since I won. I really don't know if I do. And
I know you're 33rd at Memorial, or I think it was 33rd was your best finish since then. I just happened to read that as I was doing some little recon on you.
Yeah. But one thing that I was sitting down in March this year, and I was just like really thinking. I was like, what is going on? Like, I mean, am I old? Am I done? Am I like, what's going on? Why is my game this way? And I came up with something. Since we had kids, which our oldest Hatcher's 5.5 now, he was born October 19th in 2019. Since we've had kids, I honestly, I don't play golf anymore when I'm home. I practice a lot. I go to the facility, but I've always thought like playing golf is an inefficient way to practice because if you do it well, you only hit 60 something shots in 4 hours. Whereas if I go spend those 4 hours on the driving range, chipping green, putting green, I can practice hundreds of shots in those 4 hours. So I'm going to be more efficient with my time. I'm just going to practice. But at the end of the day, golf is a scoring game.
Yep.
So like there is a skill to scoring, and that's something that like I enjoy. There's a few guys on tour who, when they hit on the range, it is just different. You know, their
100%.
sound is different.
Yep.
And I enjoy to watch and listen to them. Like for me, you know, Rory's in a league of his own.
I stopped practicing when Rory was behind me. I would literally stop and just watch him hit balls.
Yeah. Same. Like I got to play with Tiger in 19, a couple months before he won the Masters. We played the last 2 rounds in LA together. I got to see how no one's ever hit an iron the way he does. Like the control that he has of the club face, and just like the sole is perfectly flat on the ground through every strike. Like, unbelievable. Like Tiger, unbelievable.
Hang on, real quick before you head on, since you brought it up, you need to say what you said to Tiger on the 4th hole that day.
I will, but let me finish this, and then I will.
Mm-hmm. Yep, of course.
The best sound in golf is Gary Woodland hitting irons. Gary Woodland hitting irons, like it is whack and compressed, and the ground, like it's amazing. But my point in all this is, those guys are all great. Like Rory, Tiger, Gary Woodland, like all major champions.
Boo
2
Weekly.
Grand Slam. Boo, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But the skill of golf is scoring. It all counts. Like making that sound is so impressive to guys like me and you who don't make that sound.
Yep.
But you know, making a 7-footer with 8 inches of break coming down the stretch on Friday when you're on the cut line, that is equally impressive. Like it may not look or sound as impressive, but like that's cool. And so like scoring, it's all about scoring. But yeah, my Tiger story, which
I love this, by the way. I'd never heard this, and I read it today.
So I said this earlier, like one of my personality traits that has served me well, especially when I was younger and needed help in my career, was I'm not afraid to ask for help. Like I'll talk to people. I'm very willing to be vulnerable and say what I need and ask. And I'm seldom speechless, you know. I'm seldom speechless. So it's 2019. Saturday we had to finish the second round Saturday morning at Riviera in the LA Open. Tiger and I are on opposite sides of the course, but we finished on the same score on Saturday morning, finishing the second round. And so I'm waiting for the pairings to come out for the third round, and I'm doing the math on the leaderboard, and I'm like, that guy. It's me and Tiger. I'm playing with Tiger. I know him, and the tee times come out, and sure enough, it's 3 balls, me, Tiger, and Cody Gribble, of all people.
Yeah.
And we start on 10. And so Tiger, being who he is, we start on 10. You can 10's an interesting hole. You can make anything from 2 to like 15 on that hole.
It's a good work for it.
So Tiger drives perfectly, probably a 3-wood, I think, maybe just past pin high left.
Yep.
Chips it right up the green, makes a 3. Beautiful drive down 11. 5-wood to that front right pin, like 7 feet, makes it eagle. So he started 3-3, go to 12, which for me, you shouldn't have a penalty shot on 12. You can hit it out of bounds, I guess, but you shouldn't. Like, there's not really a penalty shot. I call 12 at Riviera the hardest par 4 on tour. But
it's up there.
Like
it shouldn't be hard, but it is every time you play it.
You gotta hit a 5 or 6 iron into a green that just repels golf balls.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy fairway to hit either.
No.
But Tiger hits the fairway, hits it to like 15 feet, birdie, 3-3-3 to start. So he's 4 under through 3. Like, crowd is going absolutely bazonkers, bananas, wild. And I haven't said a word. Like, I'm like, hi, I'm Peter on the 10th tee, and that's it. I haven't said a word. So we're walking. He's just gone 3-3-3. And then you get a little reprieve from the fans on 13 tee at Riv because they can't get back there. They stay out to the other side of 12 green. And you walk. And we're waiting on the fairway to clear on the tee. And Tiger's just standing there. And I'm like, I've never been shy or quiet in my life. I gotta do something here. And so I just look over. I'm like, hey, Tiger, a lot of guys are nervous the first time they play with me, but you're handling this really well. And he looks at me like, he gets this little look on his face like, did you really just say that? That's funny. That's funny. And he laughs. And we played together the rest of that round. And then I was fortunate. I would not have been playing with him in the final round based on score. He beat me pretty considerably that day. I played all right though. Actually, I think I shot under par. But we couldn't repair because we didn't end up. I think we only played like 7 holes on that Saturday afternoon, and then we came back out on Sunday and played the rest of the tournament. So I got to play 7 holes plus then the rest, 29 more holes the next day. And after I cracked that joke with him, like he would go out of his way to come talk to me. It wasn't about golf, wasn't about anything really. It was just, I think, those who know Tiger now know like socially he's a little awkward, which I think would come with the life that he lived. Like, I mean, he cannot open himself up to really anyone because if he does, like, he'll get so like he's a little, but like he would come over to me and just like, not nothing. Honestly, I mean this. Like, he wasn't doing anything inappropriate, but like he'd point out a cute girl in the crowd to me. He'd like just cool stuff, like
guy
cool stuff that
just guys being guys, just talking sports and
and then there was one moment he complimented me, which was cool because I mean I still to this day I still have a little bit of that imposter syndrome because I don't do the stuff that prototypical tour players do well. I still don't do particularly well. I kind of like I'm not hitting towering high draws into front left pins and I'm just kind of I look at like my model for my game, and I hit it farther now than I used to. I actually hit it decently far, but my model for my game, the game that I would love to play, I look at what Russell Henley does. Russell Henley, I bet a lot of your listeners are like, who's that? I don't know who Russell Henley is. Well, guess what? Russell Henley's ranked like 6th in the world or something. Like, and
having the year that he's been waiting to have for years.
And all he does is just like, I don't want to use this word in a super derogatory way, but he kind of just skanks it straight. He just skanks it straight.
Yep.
Straight. And like, anyway, he's a US Open master because he just doesn't hit it in trouble. Like, he's so good. But anyway, Tiger complimented me that day we played together. The 5 green at Riviera is a great green. 5 is a great hole. I like the 5th hole. It's a great green. I hit a good tee shot, and the pin was front right, and this green sits high in the front right and goes down away from you the whole way. Like, it goes from front right down to back left, and there's no little shelf in the back right, but that's not relevant to this story at all. So this front right pin, I had a yardage that would have been like full pitching wedge for me. But if I had full pitching wedge, that ball's spinning left as it lands. Like, that's just what's going to happen for me. A ball's going to. And so I'd hit this 9-iron and just kind of hit a 3/4 little cutty 9-iron and hit a great shot in there. And And Tiger comes over to me. He goes, that way with that one, right? Like it's a good shot, a really good shot. I was like, thanks for noticing, bud.
Yeah.
Like, appreciate that.
Stick around. I'll teach you that one after the
Yeah,
round, Tiger.
yeah, I can. But that was, I mean,
That's a heck of an experience.
yeah, it's really cool.
29 holes with probably the greatest of all time.
Yeah, man, I would say so.
Yeah, exactly. You and I know. I mean, we weren't around with Jack, but I mean, at the same time, Tiger basically lost 15 years of his career, 10 years of his career with what's been going on with injuries and all that stuff, and he's still right there. So, uh, well, after battling on the tour for so long, as you mentioned earlier, you popped off and got another W at the 2024 Valspar Championship. I mean, not only was it a ridiculously good week of golf, but it ended with my favorite post-round speech on 18 of all time. Because it meant, I mean, I remember, I forget where we were going. We were supposed to go somewhere, and we were watching the tournament, and my wife's like, come on, we got to get going. I'm like, nope, not a chance. Like, you're going to sit down. We're all going to watch this together because I know what's about to happen. And it just, the waterworks, man. You just lost it in a great way. And I'm like, this is what I want to see. This is genuine golf. This is a guy who hadn't won. He's been battling. This is what I would do if I ever won. Like, I would just be a ball of I'd just be a ball of tears. Like, all the emotion's going to come out, and that's exactly what happened. You wanna touch on that for our listeners that maybe didn't see the interview?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, in that moment when I won, the first thing that I thought about was, and I know that you can relate to this, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this who, even if they're not professional golfers, they have a demanding job that takes them away from their family. And there's so many times, like, this is playing golf on the PGA Tour is still my dream job. I love to do this, and I'm so thankful for it. But since I've had kids, it's been different, and it's felt different because, like, it's a sacrifice to spend 30 years or 30 weeks out of a year on the road. And like, some of those weeks I'm able to take my family with me, but that's hard for them too, because it disrupts their life, their social circles, everything at home. So, and then if I leave and they stay home, their dad's gone for a week. My wife's partner is gone for a week. And when you go through the rough stretches that you inevitably will when you're in such a competitive environment, you start to ask yourself, like, is the sacrifice worth it? Like, is this worth it to just, and so to have that question, is the sacrifice worth it, answered with an emphatic yes. Mm-hmm. In fact, it is worth it. Like, that was overwhelmingly joyful for me. And, to be able to, to be able to have that moment, have my family there. Yeah, it was just like, that was it. Cause that's the question. And, as I've struggled again now these last, 15 months, my game just hasn't been where I've wanted it. The question repeats itself. It comes up, like, is this worth it? And, to be able to look at that moment, and relive it and be able to say, like, yeah, the sacrifice, it is worth it. Like, it's worth it. Yeah. That was what came pouring out of me there in that moment. But I still, like, even looking back on it now, I can feel that so viscerally. Like, that's
awesome.
It was so cool.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, I knew the emotion was going to come out, and I'm like, this is going to be so good. And It was. I mean, it was better than I thought it was going to be. But it's, to your point, it's like everybody watches it on TV and everybody thinks it's so glamorous, and it is. I mean, it is to an extent, but it's also a lot of work. It's a lot of grinding. It's a lot of, yes, this is a mental health podcast, so we're going to, we dive into a little bit of that, but it's a mental grind every day. It's one thing if you're playing great and you're making millions of dollars, but when you're missing 3-4 cuts in a row and you're in a dark hotel room by yourself sitting there going, I suck. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm working. I was so excited for this week. I love this golf course. I got the pairing I wanted. I got the tee times I wanted. I wanted everything. I just shot 74, 78, and I'm going home again. Like, this couldn't have been lined up any better for me. And, like, I've been there. I know it. And it's a dark place. And when you don't have friends there, you don't have your family there, it's like you're by yourself. And there's a really good chance there aren't great thoughts rolling through that head. So to be able to pop off a W after going through all those times, I can't imagine. It's like everything's coming out. And It did. That's awesome, man. One thing I definitely want to touch on because it meant a lot to me was your friendship with Grayson Murray
Yeah.
and the interview at Colonial. And I think we've talked about this before, but when he passed away, I was in a treatment facility getting myself the help I needed. And we had these two little TVs in like our breakfast lunchroom area that we could watch on the weekends. And I had my feet propped up with one of my buddies that I was with in there, and we were just talking, and the golf was on, and all of a sudden I saw these ribbons and couldn't figure out what the ribbons were for. And then they put his face up on the TV with his dates, when he was born and when he passed, and I lost it. I had no idea. There was a guy
Yeah.
who I reached out to him for help. I sent him an Instagram DM. I went through all the PGA Tour resources on links, read through everyone, tried to figure out which one I was going to call, and didn't call any of them because none of them felt right. So I slammed my computer. I grabbed my phone. I reached out to Grayson and I said, dude, I need to talk. You can probably guess what this is about, man, but I need a lot of help right now. And unfortunately, I never heard from him. But watching that and thinking, this guy beat alcohol, as far as I knew. Like, he was out
Mhm.
ahead of that. Like, he was not drinking anymore. He was engaged to be married. He just wanted Sony. He's made $3 million this year, and he decided to take his own life. Like, I'm broke. I'm at home. I'm in a treatment facility right now, and I'm the one living. Like, and he decided to do that. Where's that put me? And it
Yeah.
scared the hell out of me for a night.
Yeah.
I started crying right there. And then I saw your interview, and it's the same thing. It meant a lot. But I just wanted you to touch on your friendship and that whole week, because I know you played with him at Colonial when he
Mhm.
withdrew, and 24 hours later he was gone.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I actually, it's kind of sad for me to admit. I mean, obviously the whole story is incredibly sad, but one thing that's sad for me to admit is I I got I got tied I got tied to Grayson because I was the one that was playing with him. I was the one that did the CBS interview there. I actually didn't really know him that well, and that makes me sad because I feel like if I had known him better, maybe that's what he needed. Maybe he didn't need me, but he just needed people in his life to know and care. Because I, I think this is I pieced this together a little bit from people who are close to him. I think Grayson. I think Grayson beat. I'm gonna say beat. Like, he beat his alcoholism. He did break that, but his only way that he was able to do that was just to close himself off to pretty much everything. Like
Yeah,
he and I feel like
it came
I
back.
feel like he yeah I feel like he probably was incredibly lonely, and then and
It sounded like it, and he had it beat for a little while, and then it'd creep back in, and then he beat it again, and then it creep back in again. And
yeah
I know that I spoke to Kip Henley on the podcast a couple weeks ago about this, and he was very honest because he was caddying for him on the Corn Ferry Tour, and then he got fired right before they went out to the PGA Tour, and Grayson won 2 weeks later, and Kip was upset obviously because he thought his fiance was the one that fired him, and Kip knows now. He's like, I couldn't have been more wrong. I thought she was a bad person, but all she wanted was him. She just wanted his sobriety more than anything in this world.
mm,
And she was afraid that because I drank beer and he was around me, that could, eventually bleed into him again. And that's what all she wanted was his sobriety. And unfortunately, that's kind of what was the tipping point at the end of it. And, um, but yeah, it was very hard to see, but I saw your interview. It was very emotional and rightfully so, but excuse me, it's just hard to believe, and I couldn't imagine being you. It's like he was here yesterday. Like, we were playing golf a
yeah
day ago or 2 days, whatever it was. And it's like, now all this happens. And
yeah
no, I
the
mean, it
thing
was
that I,
just, go ahead.
yeah yeah the thing that the Grayson situation, like, it sucks in life how these things that we sort of know but don't pay any attention to until a moment like that comes up. Like,
Hmm.
that's but the point that really really drove home to me, like, I um got this little sheet that I carry with me everywhere I go. This is pretty personal, so I won't necessarily share it, but I put this out on my desk every night, or every time I get to a new hotel, or
Yep.
it's on my desk at home all the time, and it's 7 things. I call them Peter's principles. Um, And my third principle on here is I want to have a part in creating a better world. So I lead with kindness, curiosity, and openness. Every interaction is a chance to have a positive influence. And I think about the fact that like I do not feel any guilt or responsibility
No,
for
you
Grayson's
shouldn't.
death. I don't feel any guilt or responsibility. But what I do think about is like I never ever I never talked to him. I never reached out to him. I never asked him if he wanted to play a practice round or have dinner or do anything. And you just think about like you just never know what people have going on.
I was
Like
just gonna say, man, you never would have known. There, you could be playing. You could see guys on the range this week in Detroit and be like, "Yeah, I didn't ask him to play a practice round," and then you could find out he's got 100 things going on at home that nobody knew about. And
I just think it's so easy for us in life, and I'm so guilty of this, and I know we all are. It's so easy for us to look at what somebody's doing and say, "Why are you doing that? Why is that person doing that? They shouldn't be doing that." But we have no clue what's going on in their lives at
yep,
all. And like my favorite example in my own life is like since I've had kids, I've become a much more uh, cognizant and respectful driver. Like I don't drive like I used to drive like a stupid young shithead. Like I'd like weave in and out of traffic and go and go and go.
yep,
And now that have kids, I'm like, well, that's really dumb. I'm not gonna do that anymore. Like when I see someone driving like a maniac, I'm like, what are you doing being a maniac? And then it occurs to me like, dude, A, that used to be you. And
yep,
B, there is probably not, but there is a chance that that person's rushing to the hospital or that person's just
yep.
you never know what's going on in somebody's life. So like I try to lead with kindness, lead with kindness. And I don't always do a good job of it. But I think about like Grayson, I think that's what his parents really want now from his foundation is that people take what happened to him and use it as a good reason to go out and like when you have an opportunity and you're in a situation where you can either be cold, detached, and judgmental, or you can be warm, inviting, and kind. Like choose warm, inviting, and kind
Yeah,
because you
choose
never know
kindness.
what difference that'll make. Like
Yes,
you never
100%.
know. So and then it's been kind of cool. You know, pretty much nothing about Grayson being gone is cool. Nothing, but the fact that his parents and his family have really used it to grow awareness and that's kind of their big message. I think
It is. Yep.
is be kind, be
Yeah.
kind. Like,
Yeah. And that's what we're working with them a little bit as well. My foundation's working with theirs, and we're going to do some partnerships on some junior events, things like that together. But it's a lot. It's the exact same message. It's you never know what people are going through, and let's let people know that it's okay to not be okay. And the PGA Tour is a perfect example of that because when I was out there, I remember I saw you at the Honda or Cognizant now and Bay Hill players. And it's like the more I was out there, the more I realized it's like I could try to help these guys and try to get my message home, but it's like banging my head against the wall a lot of times because it's the stigma behind mental health is a learned behavior. You don't come out of the womb being like, "Yep, not going to work on my mental health." I was
no,
born that way.
no.
It's taught that way. So that's why we yes, we're still helping a lot of guys on the PGA Tour, Corn Ferry, and the caddies especially as well. We're helping a bunch of them, but we're also really putting an emphasis on the grassroots level with the AJGA and the first tee and try to teach them at a young age so that when those 14, 15-year-olds that have been working with a sports psychologist or a therapist get to the PJ Tour when they're or the LPG Tour when they're 22, 23. It's like, no, that's Julie. She's part of my team. She's been here since I
Yeah,
was 15. She's awesome. No, it's not weird at all. She's part of my team. She keeps me sane in this crazy world where I'm trying to play golf. And
yes,
it's like now all of a sudden stigma's not there anymore, right? So
it's amazing.
it's amazing. It's catching on like wildfire. It's been great. But along those same lines, I mean, you're on the PGA Tour policy board, and you've been out on the tour for what 14 years now or something.
Not that
Uh,
long, but yeah, it's my
do you,
11th season.
do you think the PGA Tour does enough for you guys?
I think the PGA Tour, I've actually benefited from and used some of the mental health resources. I think the PGA Tour has the resources available. Um, and I don't know. I don't know what their responsibility should be in terms of like. I don't think enough guys know about it. I don't think enough guys know about it, and I don't think it's easy enough. Because I think, like, here's the thing. I think it's hard for people, especially in a business where, you know, we are selfish, independent. You know, it's like you said, people don't know that it's okay to not be okay, and so they try to fake that they're okay.
Yep.
And I don't. I think the culture of not just the PGA Tour, but in our world,
Men in general, especially.
Yeah. The culture of it's like to be able to ask for help is, I tell my boys this all the time. You know, I'm not on social media anymore. I haven't been in a long time. Haven't been since I guess it was officially like the pandemic, March of 20, when I took off my phone.
That's good for your mental health.
Yes, it is. But I remember one of the instances. So I would do posts about kindness and respect and stuff. And one of my most common hateful comments or derogatory comments would be, "Oh, this is so soft. You're so soft. The world has gone so soft." I teach my boys this now. I'm like, well, Hatcher, who's 5.5, my 2.5-year-old probably doesn't quite get it, but I'm like, Hatcher, I hope people call you soft, because like if kindness and empathy, if that's soft, I hope they call you soft. And if admitting that something's bothering you and that you need help is soft, then I hope they call you soft. Like I hope, and so that's like, my wife has the world's, she's really clever and extremely thoughtful, and she has this response that, you know, if she ever hears that, like if someone says, "Oh, you're being soft," or that stuff, her response is, "Oh, thank you. I've been working on that."
Of course she does. That's awesome.
So I love that. But I think, you know, you asked specifically if the tour does enough. I think the resources are there, but I think the tour could do a much better job of creating a culture where someone doesn't have to.
Sign up in the lunchroom.
Seek it out, you know. Like yes, exactly. Sign up in the lunchroom. So
anyway, we'll leave that one alone. We'll talk off air about that one sometime.
I want to take a quick minute to thank our first ever sponsor on the Uncomfortable Chat, and that's Slipstream IT, a company redefining IT for life sciences. At Slipstream, they partner with a purpose and believe in the power of technology and the life sciences to enable people to live healthier, more fulfilling lives. You can learn more about Slipstream at slipstream-it.com. And now back to Peter Malnati.
I got to let you go here, but I got to hit you with a very quick 6-pack of questions. These are quick hitters, so they won't keep you long, man. 6-pack of questions for you. Number one, are you more famous for your 2 PGA Tour wins or the infamous Korn Ferry Tour clip of "all that for that"?
I still get all that for that occasionally. So definitely.
I say it 10 times a year in random instances. I just say it all the time. It's awesome. If you haven't seen the clip, people go find it. It's basically he's waiting to get into, wading into the water. He's in there forever trying to hit this shot, hits it, the thing comes right back into the water, and he just sits there and goes, "all that for that?"
Well, okay. All right.
Priceless.
I need to tell the full story. I know this is the first convolution in our 6-pack here is going to be a little longer.
It's up to you. You're the one at the bedtime tonight, not me.
I'm telling this story. So you obviously, by the way, did you know that the rules official name Rico, his real name is Rich Pearson. So I've only ever known him as Rico. So when someone told me that Rich Pearson was here this week, I was like, I don't know who that is. He's like, "Oh, you know that?" I was like, "No." He's like, "I think, you probably call him Rico." I was like, "I know Rico."
Anyway, yeah.
So Rico was the rules official that came over. And I said to him, I was like, this is like the ickiest, muckiest muck, and I'm wearing khaki pants and a white shirt. And so I say to Rico, I'm like, Rico, like, this is the first round of a nationwide tour event. There's going to be like 17 people watching this coverage. Can I just take my clothes off? Like, and he's like, you can get fined if you take your clothes off. Like, you could get fined. And I was like, come on. And so I argued with him for like a minute, like jokingly, not serious, but I argued with him for a good, 20, 30 seconds anyway. And then I crawl in there and I hit the shot and the ball goes back farther into the hazard. And so I'm going to have to go to the drop area anyway. And so it's like my argument is, that for that. But yeah, it was an infamous moment. I still get it for sure. So
I didn't know the part about taking your clothes off. Now it's even better.
Well, so the coolest part, so that would have been, I had already earned my tour card. Cause like you said, I finished 4th in the season, and this is like the last corn event. So I had my card wrapped up. So that was probably, I'm going to say late August or early August of 2015. A few months later, I win Sanderson Farms, and I'm holding up this. The trophy is a great one. It's a rooster.
Oh,
so holding up this trophy. Get a text from Rico. Quote, man, if I'd known you had such a nice cock, I would have let you take your pants off. How good is that?
Oh, if anybody knows Rico, that's exactly up his alley. Good for him on writing it too.
Yeah, it was so good.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Second question of the 6-pack, please.
Yeah, number 2. How have you managed to stay on tour so long with a below average caddy?
I feel like
there may be a backstory behind this one.
I feel like Chad is the perfect caddy for me because I'm a low demands kind of guy out there, I do my yardages, I mostly read the greens, and let's be honest, it's easy to give Chad a hard time, and you know him so well. You all are Pittsburgh boys together and all that.
Yep.
I guess it's actually been public this week. I don't know why this is such a big story, but Colin Morikawa is having some caddy stuff. The one thing that Chad. So my caddy's Chad Antis. Incredibly great dude.
He is.
Incredibly great dude.
He is. I'll deny saying that, but he is.
I don't think he'd mind me saying this, and if he does, I'm really sorry, Chad. I would say if there was some kind of like objective measure of like just caddy skill, take out the player relationship and just say caddy skill, like I would say the best caddy I've ever seen is Paul Tesori. Like Paul's probably the best caddy I've ever seen.
I would agree with that.
Paul's the best. I had a big Aussie caddy named Shane Joel caddy for me. From a technical like skill of caddying standpoint, Shane Joel was an excellent caddy. But from a personality standpoint, Shane and I sucked together because Shane loved to be in control. Like Shane loved to like, all right, bud, we're going to do this right here. We're going to hit this shot with this club. This is how we're going to do it. And there are some players on tour who want and need that.
Yep.
I love to I hardly let Chad get a yardage for me. Like I basically am like I'm in charge of the golf stuff. And Chad is a very, very good caddy. Like if I was a different type of player and I needed someone to tell me exactly what to do all the time, I think Chad could do that really well.
Yeah.
But for 8.5 years now, Chad has never been late, never been negative. Shows up, and when I get down on myself and I don't believe in myself, he is like my biggest advocate. He believes in me, and it's like it's not from a place of like, hey, I want to pump you up and like encourage you to go do well because it'll help both of us. It's like, dude, I just know you're freaking really good at this, so like I want to see you get that out. Like he's really, really supportive, and for me, some guys I think need a caddy to like hold them accountable, hold their feet to the fire, like motivate them, pump them up. I just need a friend out there to support me because and so Chad, like, we actually started, I guess 8.5 years is not right. We've been together. We've been together since May of 2017. So
I was gonna say it's been a while.
Yeah, we're eight plus.
Yeah.
Years. Yeah.
And for the backstory, his brother Brandon also caddies on tour, and Brandon caddied for me for a little while, but we became great friends. He's from Pittsburgh as well. We played some golf in Pittsburgh, but I knew Brandon and Chad before all this, before they got together here. And I tease Chad every time I see him. I'm like, oh my God, you haven't gotten fired yet. How have you not gotten fired? I mean, it was like the ongoing joke for my last 2 years on tour. And then I was like, my God, they've been together for like 6 years now, 7 years now. I just kept going, and I still say it all the time. I'm like, is this the week, bud? Are you out? Are you gone? But no, he's a great dude. I'm glad you guys are together. I think you guys are a great match together. And like you said, good. you need a best friend out on tour, because this guy is with you more than your wife when you're playing golf. And
right.
You need somebody that you can hang out with and talk with in the fairways. And, you guys got to be each other's best friends for a while.
Right.
Number 3, if I told you I'd give you $10 million to win an event on tour and you got to pick the course, what 3 courses would you pick?
Pebble. Pebble's first. TPC River Highlands is second.
Yeah, I love that place.
Pebble, TPC River Highlands.
Notice you're not saying Valspar.
I've already won that one. I mean, heck.
It didn't pay you the $10 million.
So I guess I'm just going my three favorite golf courses on tour. Like, not necessarily my.
You got to win, man. Otherwise, you don't get $10 million. So, which courses do you play the best?
Pebble, River Highlands. I've never had success at this place, but I think it's built for me. I'm gonna say Sawgrass, TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
It's a good golf course for you, even though I was sitting in the tent on 18 watching you play your last hole this year.
Let's not talk about it. That's not good for my mental health, Steve.
No. This is a mental health podcast. We're going to leave that one alone, but I'm watching that going, oh, no. When it rains, it pours, man. Number 4, best courtesy car on tour.
Tell you what. So spoiled in this regard.
We are. I will 100% agree with that. We are very, tour players are spoiled with the cars. They're awesome.
I don't want to get into the politics of anything at all, but I actually was super impressed in the Myrtle. I played the Myrtle Beach event this year opposite Truist, and they asked me when I showed up. They said, "Would you be okay with an electric car?" And I said, "Will the charge last the whole week?" I don't really know. I'm not familiar with how they work. And they're like, "Oh yeah. It's got like a 400-mile range." I drove a Cadillac Lyric. That was fun. It was super fun. But my favorite is hands down. Like I would one day love to own the Genesis GV80.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, like, I'm a big practicality kind of guy in life. Like I'm not a luxury guy.
You're not buying the 550 from Napa that they give us every year, or, Truist that gave you every year, that big old Mercedes. And
no, see, I'm not. That's not me. But that Genesis GV80, it combines. I think it's a great looking car. And
it is.
It is. Like I said, I don't drive. Like, speed's not my thing anymore. I'm not into speed, but it just is so smooth. Like, it's one of those cars where, like, not that you ever have any room anywhere in LA to go 90 miles an hour, but you can accidentally drive 90 miles an hour in it because it's so smooth, and like you just don't know you're going that fast. And like I like that. Like when my Honda Odyssey at home gets up to 90, it's like like you know. So
yes, I do. It's funny you say Genesis though, because I remember I got one in Palm Springs the one year, and I was like, "What is this? This is fun." And we took it to Torrey Pines. We got one there too. And that was before they had like the automatic driving cars. But I remember the first time I was driving that, the highway down there to La Jolla or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I got a little too close to the lane and it kicked me back in. I was like, no way. This thing drives itself. And I took my hands off for a minute. I started going slower just to make sure so I didn't run into somebody. But I mean, cars like bouncing back and forth between yellow lines. And I was like, this is the greatest car ever.
Yeah, so cool.
Number 5, favorite meal after a win or a big week. Do you have one?
I am so my favorite meal of all time ever is my mom's homemade tacos. That's my favorite meal ever. But living the road life.
Yeah.
My wife and I, before we had kids, when we would travel together, we would always like we're practicality type people. We're not going out to fancy restaurants very often.
Yeah.
But every town we would go to, we would try to find like the local, not chain, like the local authentic Italian restaurant. And like, I know I should be like carb conscious and all that stuff, but one night a week, like a good like house-made pasta and a brick oven pizza. Like we would do like one of us would get a pasta, one of us would get a pizza, and then we just do halvesies on it, you know? And that
sounds awfully nice.
That for me is that's my jam.
That sounds awfully good. Good answer.
Mm.
Number 6, I ask this of everybody. If current day Peter Malnati could go back and talk to 22-year-old Peter Malnati and tell him all the things that would allow him to, you know, that would help him live a happy, fulfilled, successful life, what would he tell him?
You know,
although you got probably 7 principles there, you could probably run through those and that would do it for you.
A couple things I would say is, people that like, I still need to learn this lesson, but like, as long as you like live the right way, and by that I just mean like be a decent human. You don't have to be exceptional. Just be a decent human. Like, people remember you. Like I've spent every week that I've struggled in golf, which has been a ton more than the weeks where I've been, you know, good.
Yep.
I've spent them worried about like, oh, what does this mean that I've missed the cut? What does this mean that I've hit the best shot? And I would tell 22 of me, like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, it means that you've chosen a really hard profession. And, you know, every bad week means that you're 1 week closer to that good week that's coming. Like, that's what I would tell 22-year-old me is like, just it, for lack of a better way of saying this, and to make I'll make Alex Aragon proud right now. just chill the fuck out, dude. Like, just chill the fuck out. Like, you're gonna be okay. And then we talk about this is a mental health podcast. I've really struggled. I've really struggled to. I mentioned this earlier, but maybe didn't quite give it away that I've struggled to this extent. Like, I've really struggled with stretches of poor play. You know, leaving my family at home, going on the road, and playing poorly. I've really struggled with that. And so I was talking one time, I have a therapist that I talked to, and I was talking to my therapist about this, and he's not a golfer, which is probably an advantage. Like, there's certain things that he misses that, you know, he doesn't know really all that well about my life, but then, you know, he knows me well enough that he just also, but he said, Peter, can we please do a thought experiment? I said, what happens if this was we're talking last fall.
Yeah.
He said, so what happens if every tournament you play, you know, he goes, I think I understand this right, that you're exempt on tour next year and the year after. What happens if every tournament you play for the next 2 years, you miss the cut? I was like, well, I mean, I lose my status and I play only on the past champions category and I'm probably not going to play anymore. I'll be done. He goes, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. He goes, then what happens? I was like, I don't know. I mean, like, I guess I gotta like get a job. I mean, I've got enough money that I could take a couple years off, but then I guess I got to get a job, and and he goes, yeah. Do you think you could be good at anything other than golf? I was like, well, yeah, I'm sure I could. I could do a really good job, and then I maybe be able to like actually be home and have dinner with my family and wake up and maybe I could. I don't know. Maybe if I didn't play golf on the PGA Tour, I could still be happy. And he's like,
yep,
bingo, ding, 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 ding. And it was like, oh, okay. So maybe if I go back and talk to 22-year-old me, like 22-year-old me was essentially still 15-year-old me. And 15-year-old me, I remember, I guess I've always been, you know, a little bit aware, more so than like I've been older than my age for a long time, I think, in terms of like awareness and stuff. But I remember when I was 15, I said something to this effect to my dad. I was like, Dad, I love, you know, you've worked so hard for our family. You put our family in a really good place. Like, really thankful. I also never want to do what you do. I don't want to get a real job. Real jobs look like they suck. Like I want to play. Like, and when I was 15, I still thought I was going to be a baseball player, probably. But like when I was 15, I felt like I need to be a professional athlete. That's all I want to do. It's all I do. And like 22-year-old me felt the same way still. And somehow, I've made it to 38. And I'm still highly motivated. I really feel like my best golf is still ahead of me. I don't think I've, fully realized, my potential.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting, and I'm motivated to do that. But I also have this sense that, I also have a lot more money, but I have this sense that 22-year-old me never had, that like, if I'm not successful in golf, like if I don't, like, it's gonna be all right. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be all right. And like, you talk about a great place to start from mental health when you are in a competitive environment like this, like to start from the fact that like, it's going to be all right. Even if you don't do it, that's okay. Like that's a good place. So
it's going to be just fine. I had a podcast yesterday with Ryan Leaf. I sent it out today. It's a good one. You should listen to that when you get time. But the one thing we noticed, because I mean, Ryan Leaf's story, right? With Peyton Manning and that whole, I mean, he went through, one went to Hall of Fame, one went to prison, as he says. But it's an incredible redemption story as well. But the one thing that, he spoke to, and I can speak to now, and granted, I had to go down to the lowest of lows to learn all this shit. So that's why I try to give it back to other people now and try to tell them, look, man, and your therapist hit it on the head. Like, life's going to be okay. I'm as happy now as I've ever been. And the few things I learned through that process were, I think I retired, and about 7 minutes later, everybody forgot I ever played golf. And it took me a second to go, wait, no, I was decent. Wait, remember me? Like, hey, I'm still here. No one cares. So, which means you shouldn't care that much either, right? It's life, and you're all getting there, and you're going to be 80 years old, and this is a time of your life. But then the second part of that, sorry, go ahead. I saw you were going to talk.
No, well, the only thing I was going to say was, and I'm not opening this can of worms because I want to talk about it. I'm just opening it because it relates to what you just said, and it's a funny story, but it's true. My first year on the board for the tour, I had this vision of like how important all the players on tour were for the ecosystem. Like, and that was my whole platform for being on the board. It was like, and Charlie Hoffman, he put me in my place so quickly with just the quickest little quip, which he's good at doing that. Like he can be but he said, Peter, he said, you need to understand this. He was like, yes, our job in here is to make sure that the tour is fair for everyone. And we will do that. But you have to remember that there is a lineup of hundreds of people who can replace you and me instantly.
Yep.
There's not that lineup who can replace Rory and these other guys. He was like we are so replaceable in the PGA Tour's model. Like, you just need to remember that. And I was like, shit, he's right. Like, he's exactly right.
Do you remember, the story of the guy that finished 39th on the money list back in 1993? You remember? Exactly. Nobody does. That's the point. No one gave a shit, man. And that guy's forgotten too. He thought he was a big deal at the time. I'll guarantee you he did. You know what? Nobody knows who he is now. Just like nobody's going to remember me. Nobody's going to remember. Like, it just goes that fast. And
that's exactly like, I feel like there are a handful of guys who have like transcended the sport into like pop culture. But then you look like, and I would say this to him too. Like, there's guys who are huge stars in our game who have made, like, there's guys who have won the FedEx Cup. You look at like Patrick Cantlay and Billy Horschel, like they haven't transcended golf into pop culture. Like that, that's like,
you remember Charles Howell and Hunter Mayhem? Remember how phenomenal they were?
Yeah.
Remember them? It's like, those are the guys I knew, like, growing up. Like, those were the best of the best. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about him. He's a heck of a golfer, man. Yeah, he was really good. And you know what? People are forgetting him. If he walked into a grocery store and said, I was a professional golfer, they're like, okay, I think I remember your name.
Yeah, didn't you chili dip that chip in the Ryder Cup that one year? Or the President's Cup?
Yep, exactly. But yeah, the big thing I tell everybody is like, look, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a professional golfer, a professional basketball player, whatever it is, unless you die on the court or unless you die in the emergency room, however if you're operating on somebody, you're going to retire from your job one day. It's going to happen. Like that day is coming eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to know who that person is when you retire, because I didn't know who I was. I thought I did. And 2 years later, I woke up one day and go, I have no damn idea who I am, because I made myself Steve the Golfer for 35 years. And I didn't know who I was without that little moniker behind my name. I didn't even care that I wasn't on tour. I didn't miss it. But I just like having, I thought I was a bigger deal than what I was. And I thought I was that person. And that's all my self-worth was tied to being Steve the Golfer. And then one day I realized I wasn't. And next thing I know, I was drunk for 2 years and in a rehab facility. And I learned the hard way. It's like, man, I wish somebody had kind of told me that. So that's live and learn, man. Live and learn. There's life lessons waiting around the corner everywhere.
Yep.
But just enjoy the days and go play good golf. Go shoot 62 tomorrow, and everything works itself out, man. So
yeah, we're shooting 72 and go see my family 2 days earlier. That's not what any of us want, but life's going to be good either way.
Either way, it's funny when you get to my side of things here and you start to realize how things happen for reasons, and you start to see the bigger picture. It's like, oh yeah, you know what? I needed that week with my family. Or I needed a few days off. Maybe that missed cut that I thought was the end of the world was one of the best things for me, because I saw my family refreshed, came back, got a good finish somewhere else. Like you never know. Play it all out.
Bingo.
Let's see where the cards fall. So I'm glad we kept this to 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's my fault. You had no chance with me, so
I noticed I even skipped some questions. So like, we got to get moving here. And I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're at a tournament. I know you got to get that beauty sleep. Go play well this week. Our fans are going to be rooting for you now, and you're one of the best ones out there, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, buddy, and really proud of you, man. I'm really proud of you. This is so cool.
I appreciate you, brother. Be good, and we'll talk soon.
Peace.
See you, man. Bye.
Alrighty, folks. That was the great Peter Malnati. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. I thought it was great. I thought it was an awesome, authentic interview, as that's the only way Pete knows how to do it. But, happy for the guy, man. I know he's grinding this year. Hasn't been the year he was hoping for. Hasn't been the stretch of golf he was hoping for after winning last year in Tampa. But he's coming around, man. He's working to do the right things. He's working on his golf swing. He's working on his mind. He knows he's in a good place with his family, his faith, friendships, everything. And usually good golf follows when you have a nice, clear mind. So hopefully he can string together some good golf. I know he got started with the first round really well, so hopefully he can keep it going. But thank y'all for listening. Go tell a friend, spread the word, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.